and you'll succeed. Keep your head down and you'll get the results. I'm born like this. If I didn't learn to show up, to step up and to speak up, where would I be today? I'd probably still be the accountant. Keep to that, I'm now a professional speaker, a published award-winning author and a coach. And I left the corporate world a year ago to run. Or are you going to be bold? Are you going to be brilliant? Are you going to step up, show up and speak up and make the difference in this world? Work hard and you'll succeed. Keep your head down and you'll get the results. I'm born like this. If I didn't learn to show up, to step up and to speak up, where would I be today? I'd probably still be the accountant. Keep to that, I'm now a professional speaker, a published award-winning author and a coach. And I left the corporate world a year.
Becoming a leader in your industry is nightmare when you do not have a skillful coach or leader in your life. You may be running a business for many years, which doesn't give you result. You may be thinking to achieve higher goals in your career. Potentially, you want to be seen as a leader in your industry, but you don't know how to do it. We have got Leela Singh with us, who is a personal brand consultant, leadership coach, and TEDx speaker. She helps career professionals to achieve greater visibility. She also helps establishing their personal brand. We welcome Leela Singh to my show. Thank you so much for joining me. And how are you doing, Leela?
Hi, Shazia. Thank you, first of all, for having me today. I'm really looking forward to our chat. And yeah, I'm doing really well. It's a lovely sunny day here in London.
So the first thing I just want to ask, you have been in your career for 25 years. What actually makes you to change your line, and how did you achieve your goals in your life?
I'll start with the second part of your question. So how did I achieve my goals? I learned from an early age that I had to work really hard to a success that I wanted. And then I just ongoing set myself the goals. I had to be very disciplined, committed, consistent in what I was doing, and always delivering to the best of my ability. So any work that I was doing in any of the jobs that I had, I would always put 110% into that because I wanted to do the best. And for me, that was one of the biggest things I learned about being able to achieve those goals. You've got to stay focused, you've got to stay committed, you've got to be consistent and work really hard.
So you have been presenting actually on stage, and you have been a TEDx speaker as well. So what message do you want to give to audience, and how can you help them actually?
So my experience starting out on my career, I was very shy. I lacked confidence and self-esteem in myself and my abilities. And I therefore was struggling to get where I wanted to be in my career. And it was quite early on that I realized what was important. So as well as the hard work, you needed to be more visible, to have people knowing what you do and have them know how good you are at what you do. So you're top of mind when it comes to those important decisions, like the pay rise, the promotion, all those kinds of things. So for me now, having transitioned out of my corporate career, I have my own business where I as you said, Shazia, I coach and I train and I mentor people around the skills that I believe are really important, that are critical in order to achieve that visibility and to stand out and make that difference in the workplace.
As you are coaching for personal brand, so your professionalism now is personal branding. So there are many interpretations for personal brand. What is a specific and special interpretation for your personal branding? How will you help other people?
That's a great question, because a lot of people have a different perspective of what personal branding is. And it can be many things. So, for example, it could be the style of how you dress, the colors that you wear. It can be your social media profile. And that's quite common when people hear about personal branding. It's about your online personal brand. So, for example, your LinkedIn profile. But actually, I'm all about personal branding in person. So, who you are and how you actually show up. Because ultimately, if you want to establish a strong online personal brand, it does start with you. And you want the way that you show up in person to be aligned and and be congruent with who you are online. So when people do meet you, that there's no surprises, and they're seeing the same person, the same authenticity throughout.
So I know actually about you. It's not you have been working with the professional people who have been in the organizations. So people
Mm-hmm.
who are in the business or people who want to achieve higher goals in their life or in their career. So how
Mm-hmm.
will you take them to the higher goals or to the next step?
So the people that I work with typically are people who are ambitious, who are driven and want to get to the next level. So they're people who recognize that they can achieve so much more, but they don't know how. So it might be they're feeling stuck, they're feeling held back, they just don't know what to do. They may feel that they're not being noticed, they're invisible, and missing out on opportunities. So
So
maybe being
how
overlooked, for
people can
example.
be visible? So what actually formula or what blueprint roadmap you have created for the
Mm-hmm.
people? How what will you suggest to viewers? How can they be visible and achieve greater visibility in their career, in their business, or in their profession?
Okay, so based on the challenges I've just outlined, from my own experience, what I've realized is there's 6 core areas that need to be mastered, that we need to integrate in order that we can stand out, we can achieve more in our career, in our business, in our profession. And so the first one is clarity. And what I mean by clarity, it's about getting clear on who you are, what you stand for, what you want to be known for, whether that's in your business, whether it's in your team, your organization, your industry, and your profession, and it's very personal to you. So that requires a lot of self-reflection and really exploring what your core values are. And it's something people get uncomfortable with often, and they don't like to go there. But it is absolutely fundamental to really understand this and go through that exercise. So that's how I start when I'm working with my clients, is to help them facilitate that self-reflection with them. And the next thing is mindset.
So
So it's confidence. Sorry, Shazia.
So if I can ask additional questions in terms of clarity. So clarity, what do you
Yeah.
mean by clarity? Do you mean to set up goals or to have
No,
clear vision? So what
clarity.
does that mean,
Clar-
clarity?
yeah, so the clarity is about you and who, like looking at yourself and getting clear on who you are, what you stand for, what you want to be known for. Because oftentimes, if you ask somebody those questions, what do they want to be known for? What are their core values? They've never really thought about it before. And so it's important to take some time to really look at yourself and have that clarity about
Yeah.
you and how you want to show
So
up.
I've seen your core values you have created. So would you
Mm.
like to mention those core values in this show?
Sure. I mean, and this will help other people as well. My core values are, oh gosh, I've just suddenly got blank. Authenticity, leadership, and growth. So for me, what that means is authenticity is about how you show up. And for me, what you see is what you get. So how I show up here on this conversation I'm having with Shazia is the same if you met me in person. It's the same as when I was in my career and now in my business. So it's being authentic all the way through and not trying to be somebody different to suit different people to try and fit in. Leadership is about both self leadership, personal leadership, as well as being able to lead those around you. And that's about being able to influence your outcomes, your goals by being self led, and also having the I guess the inspiration and the passion to be able to lead and influence the people around you. So they want to gravitate towards you, they want to know you and learn from you and look up to you, so you can bring them up with you. And then the final one is growth. And for me, growth is perhaps the most important personally, because I've always been an advocate of always stretching, always coming out of my comfort zone and trying new things. So personal growth is a big part of that for me. So those are
Yeah,
examples of the
I've
kind
seen many
of core
people.
values.
You've just mentioned about the self-motivation, self-discipline, and just the direct yourself to and push yourself towards something
Mm,
bigger and higher. So most people find
mm,
it very difficult when they are in their childhood. So parents can lead them towards some directions, but then when people grow up, it's very difficult to face the challenges in this life. Sometimes
mhm,
people face harassment in workplaces. Sometimes people face difficulties in their financial circumstances, and also sometimes people face a controlling behavior. All these obstacles they face. Actually, what
mm.
specifically or specially will you advise to those people who are facing these kind of obstacles in their life? How should they react to these obstacles?
I think it's a case of how you choose to look at the situation. So do you then look at it as almost from a victim mode of this is happening to me, or you look at what you're learning from the situation and what can you take control? There's always a part of what's going on around us that we can influence, that we can take control of. So I would advocate looking to what that is. What can we do to change the situation that we're in? What part of that can we influence?
It's actually very important that we teach people in terms of their businesses, in terms of their career. Sometimes people, when they are in the same business for many years, so it's very difficult for them to change their lines, because then there are many things to consider, and it's not that easy to change line. But if people really want to be seen as a leader in their industry, what advice will you give them?
Um, to be seen as a leader, I would say you want to get clear on who you are and really understand yourself. And you want to get clear on how you want to be perceived by others. Because ultimately, that's what this is all about. When you talk about personal branding, it's about others' perception of you and what people say about you when you're not in the room. So you want to be able to influence that by showing up as a leader consistently. So other aspects of this include having gravitas, having presence in the way that you carry yourself, the way that you show up in meetings at work or when you're meeting clients, or even if you're presenting to an audience. It's also about having effective communication so that you can, again, have people wanting to listen to you, wanting to hear what you have to say and hear your message, but also having that ability to listen and to engage with people, to build that trust and demonstrate your integrity, and also establish rapport with people so that they will be gravitating towards you and wanting to be within your circle of influence.
It's very important. So, how people can build up their rapport with the other colleagues, with their audience, with their viewers, or with their worker colleagues? How can they build up rapport?
How do they build that rapport? So it's a lot of it is your non-verbal communication. So what I mean by that is your verbal communication is the words that you use and the way that you speak. But the non-verbal are things like the smile, making eye contact with someone, and if you're having a conversation with them, acknowledging them as they're speaking, so you show that you're listening. And also, something I learned with an NLP is also about, they call it mirroring and matching. So looking at the way someone is sitting and then mirroring that, matching their movements, because then you find that subconsciously the other person naturally falls into rapport with you. It's also about your hand gestures, your posture. So again, it's about being aware of yourself, but also very aware of the other person and making them feel comfortable, meeting them where they're at, rather than positioning yourself as somebody maybe above them. But actually, no, meet them where they're
But
at so they
sometimes
can
people may have some
trust you.
reservations, people may have some objections, people may not agree to the other people, as you've just mentioned about the mirroring to the other people who are with
Mm-hmm,
you. So, what if
mm-hmm.
somebody have some objections, or somebody doesn't like some particular way of talking? So, what would you suggest for them?
It's being able to observe the other person and seeing how the way you're coming across, whether it's the way you're talking or your non-verbal communication, how that you can pick, it's a subconscious thing, you can pick it up with people. It's like some people have not everyone has their own personal space, but some people need more than others. So some people are comfortable with you being maybe a foot away from them when you're stood having a conversation, but with some people they may need people to stand further away. So it's also about culture. Different cultures are different in the way, you know, what is acceptable and what isn't. So it's developing that level of awareness, and also, I guess, the emotional intelligence around that, and being able to read other people. So you can see if someone's starting to feel uncomfortable, then what is it you need to do to make them feel comfortable?
Leela, I've seen actually couple of your videos, and also I've met you many times, a couple of times as well. So you were in different careers before. If you were accountant. So what made you to change your career, and how do you feel now after changing your career?
Me change my career was I enjoy what I was doing. After a few years, I felt like I wanted there was something more that I wanted to do. I just felt like I was being almost restricted in what I was able to do in the roles that I had. So I then started exploring other roles, other careers, and it was actually recruitment that initially caught my eye. And I did a bit of due diligence on it to understand what the role involved. And yes, it was something that would hugely take me out of my comfort zone, because remember, I really did lack confidence at the time in myself, my abilities, and this required really showing up and speaking to people and influencing senior people when you go out to see clients to help them with their recruitment needs. But yeah, I thought, I just at the time was like, yeah, I'd love to do that. I love being able to support other people and coach them around that. And that was a lot of what was part of that role. So, you know, a lot of people at the time challenged that decision I made, because they felt that I all the studying and the experience I'd had today, I was throwing it all away because I trained as an accountant. But actually, I feel that helped me to succeed in everything I've done since. You know, in the recruitment, it was financial recruitment, so it helped me to build rapport and engage with the directors, the controllers when I went to see them. So at the same time, all of that added to the experiences I've had over time. Yeah, and for me, I spent a couple of years in recruitment. I say it was the best decision I ever made in terms of career growth and really stretching me to show what is possible.
Making first decision is always difficult, as you've just mentioned. It's sometimes for some people it's impossible to come out of their comfort zone, and they just follow their routines, and they think if they change their career, or if they change their line or change their business, then it will put them in financial difficulties. So it might be fine for those people who have enough financial sources, but sometimes people don't have enough saving or money. So what advice will you give to those people who really want to be seen as a leader, but who also don't have financial savings?
It depends what you want to do. I mean, when I left accountancy to go into recruitment, yes, I took a significant pay cut to do that. And actually, I had just purchased my first home and bought my first place. So I was taking a big risk. But actually, I had the belief that it would work out. And a big part of it comes from what you believe. It's about the mindset that you have. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, how prepared are you to take risks? Because some people are more risk averse than others. And then thirdly, it's, okay, what does it actually involve to be a leader? What is it you need to do? Look at those steps. And if it means it's an impact on your financial situation, a negative impact, then what do you know, depending on how much you want it, how determined, how motivated you are, what do you need to do? What steps can you take to get you there? Because it's very easy to say, I can't do this, it's too hard, or it's going to cost me money. But what I've learned is that actually taking those risks and also stepping outside your comfort zone those are the things that are really going to propel you forward and surprise you in what you realize what you're really capable of. So for me, that's really, really important. When I started working on creating my own business, I remember going to an event and I said to the lady, because she asked everybody, what is it that's holding you back? Why haven't you started? And I said, well, I've got a really demanding job. It's 60, 70 hours a week. I don't have time. And she said, well, how much do you want this? Because if you really want it, you'll create the time. And she was right, because I had to sacrifice. I sacrificed my social life, my weekends for several years while I was still working to go and upskill and to, research and to plan out what I wanted to do and to start working with clients. But that meant that I had to sacrifice something along the line. So again, sacrifice is a part of it. It depends how motivated you are to want to be that leader.
You are quite right when you mentioned that people actually need to change their beliefs. People need to believe in themselves. People need to believe in their God, and also you need to take a risk as well. Because without taking risk, it's impossible to achieve bigger goals, higher goals in your career. Because when you have to come out of your comfort zone, it's very important that you believe in yourself, you take risk, and also you upskills yourself. Like Leela just has mentioned about upskilling yourself whilst you are progressing. Sometimes it's very important to sacrifice. Without sacrifices, it's not easy to achieve bigger goals. It may be easy to do 9 to 5 works, but it's not easy to achieve bigger goals. Because from my experience, from my career, I can tell that for a couple of years, maybe 5 years, or maybe more than 5 years, you should be focusing only onto your goals. And after 5 or 6 years, you start receiving your result, you start achieving your goals, and you start seeing your visibilities. But if some people are already in their career and they change their line, or they want to just change their career, they want to change their profession, it's very easy, or in a short term period of time, they can achieve their goals, but only with hard work and commitment, and by achieving skills, and especially passion. When we just think about passion, I think about Andy Harrington, who has created many leaders in this industry. So I must say. So just tell me about further about becoming a leader in someone's industry. So what specifically will you advise people to become leader in their own industry?
In terms of what they need to do, is that what you mean?
I mean that if somebody wants to be seen, because you are working in 3 areas. In first area, you are helping people who are already in business. How can they grow their business? And secondly, you are helping people to achieve higher goals within their organization. If they are professional, they want to achieve higher goal or position in their industry. So you help them. And thirdly, your area of work is that you actually create leaders, or you teach leaders. So if somebody wants to be seen as a leader, so just as a leader, not in business, not in professional career, just as a leader, somebody is really passionate about becoming leader. So what advice will you give to them?
My advice would be to go through that self-reflection, first of all, and understand what your values are, and also your drivers, because why do you want to be a leader? Why do you want to be seen as a leader? And what does that mean for you? Because we all have different perspectives on things. So it's important to understand, well, what is your definition of a leader, and how do other people perceive leaders? What are the traits? What are the attributes? And some of the things that I'd advise to consider are, for example, the things that I mentioned earlier. So having a winning mindset. I believe that is first and foremost. Once you get clear on who you are, it's being able to have that mindset that will keep you moving forward. You'll be able to be resilient in the face of challenge. And also, when things aren't going well, you get to still keep going. You still get to focus and keep moving forward, and you don't give up. And all of that comes from your attitude, your mindset. So that's really critical as being a leader. It's also about being able to influence those around you by showing up in a way that have other people wanting to learn from you, wanting to have you inspire them, so that they look to you as a leader and want to be like you or to do similar things to you, whether it's in business, in your career. So it's looking at the traits, it's understanding other people and other people's behaviors, what drives them, so that you're able to influence them and motivate them when you bring them up with you. So emotional intelligence is also something that is critical. And as I mentioned, having that presence, which means becoming very self-aware of your own physiology, your own non-verbal communication. And remember, people believe that communication is all about what we say, when actually the words are only 7% of our communication. And tonality is 38%. So the rest of that 55% of our communication is the non-verbal cues. So the smiling, the eye contact, the gestures, and importantly, our posture. And that's whether we're sitting, whether we're standing, whether we're walking into a meeting, into the office, to a networking event, or when you're standing presenting to that audience. All of those things will have you showing up in a way that have people creating that impression of you. And you want that impression to be, wow, I want to be around this person. I want to get to know them more. I want to help them as well as they can help. They want to help you in the way you can help them too. So you start to build a circle of influence or advocates, people who've got your back, because they can see the value that you're bringing into the world as that leader.
Thank you so much, Leela, for being with us. And it's an honor for me to actually to have you in my show. I'm just going to conclude this for viewers. So, what Leela Singh has just mentioned, so I'm just going to conclude it for viewers. It's important when you want to be seen as a leader. So you have your core values, you have your discipline, you have some positive habits and a winning mind, which can create a difference in the society, not only in the society but also in this world. When you want to be seen as a leader, first of all, you need to think about what difference you are going to create, what services you are going to deliver, how can you change this global community, how can you impact, how can you influence in this global community, and also how can you deliver more whatever you are doing now. So if you want to deliver more, you want to give out more to this world, to the community, then this is how you will be building up your rapport to the audience or to viewers or other people. And once you develop these habits, then people really want to be talking to you and meeting to you, and also want to have you on their meeting, on their events. So people really want to follow you because you are just trying to deliver more, you are trying to serve more, and also you are trying to show other people some paths. Wherever you are, whatever you do, just try to help others, try to show them some lights in their difficult times, because always there are some difficult times, and only people who can see the light at the end of the tunnel can succeed. Because it's very important, in hardest time people just quit, but in leadership industry, you don't have to quit. Just keep going, keep moving forward. Do not quit, because these difficult times make you stronger, better, and brighter person in this world. So when hardest time comes, always learn more skills, which can help the world, which can help your surroundings, which can help your family, which can help your friends. It's very important that you create a difference, because everybody wants to achieve higher goals. want to achieve to grow their businesses, but you must also need to consider why do you want to achieve those. As Leela Singh has just mentioned, that you need to have a clear vision, you need to have clear ambitions, goals, then you have to sacrifice your time, you have to learn more skills also. You need to believe in yourself that you can do whatever you want to do. So winning mindset is very important to be seen as a leader, to grow your business, to be professional in a higher position in your profession. It's very important. So thank you so much, Leela, for being with us. What you want to say in the end to viewers, the last message, what message will you give?
My big message, which I think you saw at the start in the TEDx talk, is, if you want to be seen as a leader, you need to show up, step up, and speak up.
Thank you so much for being in my show, and viewers, I will see you in my next show with another guest who is also creating a difference in this global community, because right now people are just getting depressed. People think, oh, due to COVID-19 there's not much left. It's not that. This I'm just bringing in guests who can motivate you, who can show you the path to success, and also you can do whatever you want to do. COVID-19 will not stop your way of doing things, will not stop you to make success. To make success, only you have to have winning mindset. Thank you so much for watching this show, and then I will see you soon in my next show.